the ILO itself. I mean, you should be knowing this information because you are from the labor movement, Honorable Chairperson. And this is historical in its making by just nomination, not no matter what the outcome will be, but just by being considered from this tip part of our continent, that we need as a country, we are not even making noise about it. Many other African countries have actually come up with his name. We came very late actually to support the name, actually from other departments, interestingly, because from DERCO, and because it needs to go via other processes. So these are some of the things that the honorable members should know about the chairperson of Productivity SA. The process starts in October this year, and it shall be targeting the appointment of the DG candidate in March 2022. So for the new DG effectively to take over in 2022 of October, which means we've got some time if we're still interested to push for this name, Honorable Chairperson. And I'm sure through you as the chair of this committee, you can actually help us solicit other support from other counterparts, both in Parliament and in SADC and within AU itself, so that when we go there, as we shouldn't be there as South Africa. I'm sure you are aware now that we lost almost all the positions in that are there in the AU, despite the fact that we have been chairing the AU. I'm sure if you are following through on this, some of these debates in the AU recently, we lost most of all the positions. We didn't come up with even one position. But we can safely say, Honorable Chairperson and members, that Productivity SA is led by most able men and women, and it's entirely up to us as a country to embrace this talent before the countries such as US do what they normally do. You should be aware of the fact that Elon Musk comes from South Africa, Mark Shuttleworth comes from South Africa. There's a possibility that Prof. Mthunzi might be taken or snatched just from us if we don't really value his contribution. So on the presentation itself, Honorable Chair, I think as lawmakers, we need to carefully look at the founding documents of Productivity SA from when it was established. A lot has changed since that period in terms of the structure of our economy and the ownership, as well as the policy orientation of our country. And there is statutory misalignment between Productivity SA's mandate, the founding documents, and the funding structure itself. So I should think we need to really look into the funding structure and many other things. But my view is that not everything that is of old order should be overlooked, and Productivity SA, which was the National Productivity Institute then, is one such establishment that contributed immensely in the shape and structure that we come from a system of apartheid oppression that was not kind to us, and we are who we are today because of that system. So somehow we are very skeptical about anything that comes from the past, and sometimes we need to just reevaluate how we look into things. There is so much of our complicated past that we should take into account, and the work of this institution itself, and maybe we need to refine it a bit where necessary, take the good things that worked previously and incorporate them, or so that we either recycle or a bit you'll put the right definition to it. But for me, it will be important for Productivity SA to give us a brief analysis, maybe in the next session, as is proposed by Honorable Chairperson Professor Mthunzi, to say, to just give us a brief analysis of how this institution functioned and survived during the apartheid days, and its contribution to the country's competitiveness and its growth. And it is also my view, Honorable Chairperson, that we need to strengthen this entity from the level of financial and human resources if we really want to see the value of the work of this entity. So the current structure of the budget, how the funding structure might need to be revisited, but that also I can leave it with the DG and the minister to look into, including the UIF itself, so that whether do we, sometimes they couldn't perform certain functions at some point because they had not budget for some programs that they had. So some programs had to be suspended. So we need to revisit whether is it not the right time, because everything happens for a reason. And I think this might be the opportune moment because COVID-19 happened. This might be the correct opportune moment for us to revisit how we fund them and maybe look into things differently. And I think we can pursue the discussion either here or outside of this session. But I think government entities or SOEs are very key for our economic growth, for our competitiveness and growth, as well as contributing to our ratings outlook in the global community. And I agree with honorable members that we need to invest more resources into marketing and understanding the work that Productivity SA is busy with and they are currently doing, they have been doing, and to elevate that so that everybody else can be able to understand them better. But a stronger, capable, and a resourceful Productivity SA is a guarantee for our country's stability. And this must be our focal point moving forward. And like I said, Honorable Chairperson earlier, that this institution existed long before democracy, and we must just be underestimating its mandate based on some historical reasons, which may very well be our contribution to the institution's demise, which ultimately impacts negatively on our image as a country. So we seem to be overlooking establishments that are relevant to our current situation. And for some reason, we are over-regulating good models, ending up creating some sluggishness and undermining the value propositions offered by these models. So interestingly, Honorable Chairperson, what slide 52 presentation can do for an institution that existed for over 40 years. I think we need to really look deeper into that. So one of the things that we must ask the board and the chair, through the chair, including the CEO, and I think the executive to do for us is to always try to simplify your documents. And I think, Professor, I think maybe you must pardon me for my lack of comprehension sometimes, but earlier on you gave us a free political education together with the chair, quoting Karl Marx and others. But I'm saying some of this document goes to the ordinary man on the street at some point. It will not be of interest if we pitch them very highly. We're becoming too academic on some documentations that can be easily made accessible to our people. So it will be good for, as a reference point, the way you have pitched them, the way you have prepared them, yes, well and good. But as and when we want to take this information to the people through the portfolio committee, when we do, the portfolio committee do its oversight, I think it will be necessary that we simplify the documentation so that an ordinary man on the street must be able to comprehend that which you, I'm sure that is why also you have been misunderstood for so long, precisely because you are being too academic on your presentations. But that actually don't take it, I hope you won't take it, you won't be offended by me saying that. I think it's a compliment, but on the other way around, if you look into it, it does not necessarily get too accessible to our people. So this will also help us understand your work with ease and apply our minds towards strengthening your work. So I think that will be my contribution towards today's presentation, Honorable Chairperson. I realized that the Chair has earlier on in the morning that indicated that the presentation was going to take us until 12 o'clock, but it has taken us the whole day, actually, even beyond lunch. But thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, for your time that you have offered me to make an input. Thank you, Honorable members.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, TM. I think one thing that is very important that we are not going to lose sight of is the issue that you have raised in terms of the Director General of the ILO. We can't lose that. We will have to communicate with whoever. It's unfortunate that, you know, pandemic has made us to be restricted because that was going to be our member statement from the Committee of Employment and Labor. And I think, thank you very much for raising that, and all the best. We'll try and do the lobbying and hear what is it that we can do to make the noise. Obviously, we will have to make that noise. Having said that, honorable members, I know that you don't have money. Maybe it must be the responsibility of the department, working with other departments, to produce a simple flyer, a booklet. Yeah, let me call it a booklet. A booklet which is going to simplify for ordinary people, for workers on the floor, to understand why they are to be productive. As the minister said, that I don't know if it was the minister or the chair of the board, that when you talk about productivity, people quick, I'm coming from the labor movement. You just find, oh, yo, bafuna, yeah, now bafuna retrench. And it's because we were not aware, we're not informed. So that's why the issue of the booklet. I want to end by saying you didn't respond to one important question. I started working in the public service. Always have a passion of public sector. Its responsibility, in particular the public service. You can drop a response to the department, because if you talk about a developmental state, how then do you ensure that its citizenry have confidence on it, because its public service, workers in the public service are productive. So there's that productiveness that creates jobs and whatever. But there's also that productiveness, of course, that makes people to be confident that this government will then be able to it has got that ability. Because when you go to the hospital, when you go to a school, when you go to a police station, when you go to a financial institution, you go to a bank, you see that in this country, people that are serving people have got passion. I'm saying don't respond now, because you can do that in writing. Thank you very much. We really have gone beyond our time. I want to propose, honorable members, that we break for lunch for half an hour from now until 2:15. Mr. Sakaza said we can log out and come back again, use the same link to come in. But I want to GM to say, as much as the chair who is lobbied to be the Director General is coming from South Africa. But if I'm not mistaken, it's coming from the Eastern Cape. If I am not mistaken, it's coming from a region which is always underestimated. If I'm not mistaken, that region.
Honorable Chair, you are promoting regionalism.
Yes. I will have to.
Chair?
So, Tula.
The DM owes us lunch, Chair.
Chair,
Yes. Can we break for? Yes.
I will need it after lunch, Chair. I wanted to just check the productivity South Africa. Must we come back tomorrow? And tomorrow.
It's up to you.
No, they
It's
don't
up
have
to you.
to.
After lunch, it's up to you. Join us after tomorrow. It's all up to you if you are interested.
Thank you, Chair.
But yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you. For productivity, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Can we
Bye.
break for lunch and come back at 2:15? Thank you.
I'll be
Bye.
back. Where's lunch?
Lunch is in your cooking.
It's a working lunch. It's supposed to be a working lunch.
But you were supposed to provide. Thank you, honorable members. Let's break for lunch and come back at 2:15.